Hello and welcome to the Potted RV. If you're new here, my name is Constance. If you're returning, welcome back. A couple of things I'm going to go over today, but this is going to be my first one today. So today, which this will probably go up Monday. That's what I'm figuring I'm going to do this one on, is Monday. I'm going to cover a few different seed collecting methods. Starting with, get them out, tomatoes. These are from my tiny Tim tomatoes. They're starting to rot, which is about the perfect time to go ahead and collect the seeds from these. This looks so icky and gross, but in all honesty, to get the growth inhibitor that's on the seeds to decompose better, it's best to let them do this for a little bit and then go ahead and I'm going to bring the camera down so you can see what I'm doing. We're going to start with those, then I'll go to, this is actually a jalapeno. You can collect the jalapeno seeds when the jalapeno is green, but to have a better turnout rate for germination, I find it's best to go ahead and collect them once they've gone red. Now, this red, you can go ahead, when they turn red like this, if you've ever seen chipotle sauce or chipotle powder, that's what it is. It's a red jalapeno. And so when I cut them open, that's what I use the rest of the jalapeno for, is either chipotle sauce or, in this case, it's going to be chipotle powder. But that's for another video. That'll be my next one after that. Then I'm going to go a little bit over, this is the Thai basil, a little bit over doing multi-flower cuttings like this and how to go about getting them out. This is already partially done because I see that right there. That huge, gigantic thing right there is actually the Thai basil. It's in 3 days more than doubled in size. So that's going to be a monster to trim back. And I will be doing a giveaway. I think I'm going to go ahead and start doing the entries for it as of Monday when you see this video go up. And decided that the way I'm going to do that is because I've seen a lot of scams and I don't want my viewers getting tangled up in scams. I'm not okay with that. I will never ever ask you to pay for anything. If I do a giveaway, it's a giveaway. That's what it is. So I think I'm going to go by, being subscribed has no bearing to me. That's a choice on your end. I love it when you do, but I definitely don't hold it against anybody when they don't. The entry, I think I'm going to have people go ahead and enter via the email that is listed in my About page. And just put in the subject matter, July 2025 giveaway. It is 50. This will be my 50 subscriber kind of celebration for me. As a way of giving back to those people who chose to watch me on a regular basis, whether they subscribe or not. A lot of people return that don't subscribe to me. So I still appreciate everybody who watches. So I don't want to do it based off subscribers. So I'm figuring we'll do it via the email. And I'll probably pick 1 or 2 people from that email randomly. I'm figuring in 2 weeks' time. So once I look at the calendar and whatnot, it'll be exactly 14 days is when I'll close out the entries and basically put them all in a hat and pull 1 or 2 out, probably 2. And then I'll go ahead and contact those people via the email that they emailed me from. And I figure that's how I'm going to go ahead and do it. The last method I'm going to cover, at least today, seed-wise is dill. I have some dill that's ready to do seeds in. So, and this obviously is a flower bundle, and that'll be the last one I cover. It's going to be the easiest one, which is why. So, I'm going to bring the camera down. It is a little windy, so I have certain things holding things down that have nothing to do with what I'm doing, but that's just there to hold things down. So I'm going to bring the camera down so you can see what I'm doing, and I will explain as I go along. We're going to start with the tiny Tim tomatoes. This method of collecting tomato seeds works for all varieties of tomatoes that I personally know of. So you don't have to go figuring that they collect any differently. They don't. They're pretty much the same. So I'm going to go ahead and bring you down. All right, hopefully I've got you in a decent view, and I know the camera's going to shake just a little bit because this camera arm is funny. So like I said, don't lose them. They're starting to rot. That's actually what you want to see. And I stole one of my son's little cups, but I did it because I wanted a clear cup. I don't have much in the way of clear cups, but I wanted you to see what you're doing here. So I'm going to use one as an example. I'm using my husband's X-Acto knife because I don't really want to use one of my own knives. You want to cut it open. That's what I do to all of them. I cut them all open, just like so. And you're going to see some rot in there. That's a very normal process. And just drop the whole thing to finish rotting. And this is called fermenting. I'll bring this into where you can see. Hopefully you are in there. Okay. So you'll let this sit overnight. And I usually, just because I don't like bugs getting into it, but you still want some ventilation so that the bacteria can breathe. You let it sit overnight, and then just for demonstration purposes, once it's sat overnight, I'm going to go ahead and pull one of them out and squeeze a few seeds out. And you'll notice a real funny feeling. They won't feel slimy like they did when they were fresh. These are actually really close. And simple plain tissue paper, you lay them out, and then I let them dry, and then I pick them free from this. That's the easiest way I have found to collect them. These are not ready, so I'm going to put them back in there because they still have growth inhibitor on them. I can feel the growth inhibitor. But that's basically it for tomatoes. Tomatoes are actually very easy to seed collect from. Most things are. The most complicated part is getting the seeds from a fruit that's ready is the most complicated part. I said you can do this with green jalapenos, but red ones are better, and I don't really want the capsaicin on my hand, but I'm going to end up with it on my hand, I can guarantee it. And it's just cutting the jalapeno. And then, most people have a pretty good idea how to seed collect these. But I just scrape them free like that. And doing the same thing, laying them on a paper towel to dry. And I try my best to get them spread out. And that's basically what I do with these. I let them dry, and I'll usually write on the top of it because I typically do more than one different type of pepper at the same time. So that's my solution with those is I typically write on the top of it, but I only have jalapenos right now that are being done. So it's pretty simple to do those. and I'll finish that one up off camera. So the next one is the Thai basil. And this works for most basils. Once they're done flowering, and you'll see it kind of go like a crustyish brown. I have another video, and I'll link that video here, as to when to cut them to start collecting the seeds. Some of these I've already done, but I'm going to set these off to the side. As you can see, there's a lot of seed in here I've already done. This will be part of the giveaway. My giveaway is going to be seeds from my own garden that have been grown from my own garden, plus this is not it. I'm having it designed now, but it's going to be a mug, and it will have my profile picture on it, and I'm having it done. I really liked it, and so these guys, to collect these is fairly simple. I tend to break them down into a manageable hand size, and I'll roll them in between my hands to get the vast majority of this outer casing broken up. It is easiest to deal with it that way. The stems are going to be an issue, so and just roll them clean into a bowl. And you can winnow these, which basically means let the wind blow, but I find these seeds are pretty small anyways. They'll still lift with wind. So what I typically do, somebody got water in here. Oh, take that out and put that on. Okay, that is upsetting. Let's get this. Some of these are wet. I don't know how in the hell water got in here, but it did. So, yeah, okay. So, what I typically do is I'll shake the whole container. This lighter stuff will typically land on top, and I'll just brush it up to the top of the container. You're still going to have some seeds lost in this method, but as you can see, there's a huge number. All that black stuff in there are seeds. There's a huge number of seeds still in there, and that was from one plant's cutting one time. The same, these right here that I sent to Miss T, that's exactly what they were, was cuttings from my own plants. And I just keep shaking it until I get it most of the way clean. And then just keep brushing it up. But I'll tell you, Thai basil in particular produces a lot of seeds in a season. And in some climates, like in mine, if I keep it mulched, it is perennial. But it does have to be heavily mulched and protected from the frost. In other climates, they raise it as an annual, but you can keep it as a perennial if you bring it indoors and overwinter it. So, and eventually you'll end up with something very, very clean, mostly. Obviously, you're still going to have some, unless you really sift through it, which I don't. I'm a little lazy on that end. This is not my favorite part of gardening, but I do it. And that's more seeds right there than most gardeners will use for Thai basil. It's just one of those plants that tends to be very prolific when it comes to seeding. That's basically the extent of that. And hopefully the wind will behave with me to do this. But it's starting to get windier. So we're going to go ahead and do the dill. Now dill, what I look for with the flowering head, and I'm hoping I'm in the view. Let's check. Yeah, okay. So with the flowering head, once I see, you'll see some little seed pods. And they, obviously, you're going to see what looks like seeds, because they are. And what I typically do with these is I will punch them down and take something hard and roll it down. That will oftentimes get the seeds to break free. That's the reason why I chose this one to be my ending one, is because it is by far the easiest one to do. Another way I've seen people do it is by taking the whole seed head, just like you would with Thai basil, and rolling it in your hands. I don't like that method, mostly because your hands start smelling like dill. And with this wind, these dill seeds are going to go everywhere. These dill seeds are also going to be in the giveaway, as well as some of my jalapeno seeds, some Tiny Tim seeds coming off directly off my Tiny Tim. Nope, behave. And these situated so I don't have the wind take off with them. And just fold those up so they don't end up blowing away. I'm also going to be doing seeds from my Thai basil. And let me pull the camera over here. And I have been leaning on I wanted to do seeds from some of my squashes, but they're not going to be ready yet. And I wanted to do the giveaway specifically of this year's garden. And so it's going to be the dill, which I'm going to take you over to. The sun is right there in my idea. So it will be this dill, which is going to seed now. And from this exact Thai basil, which is starting to reflower. That's one thing about Thai basil. And like I said, this Thai basil is now more than double the size it was 3 days ago. And the video I did for trimming back the sweet basil was 4 days ago. And the sweet basil is now nearly as large as that Thai basil, which didn't get trimmed back. They get crazy. And I'll probably do San Marzan tomatoes. I've got quite a few of those back there. I'm figuring I'll do seeds from them too. And then I think I don't have any of the, should have used gloves. That jalapeno is spicy. I don't have any of the raspberries that fruited. It flowered but didn't fruit. But this right here is an adult Tiny Tim tomato. That is as big as they get. They don't get any bigger. I absolutely love this tomato plant. And I might If I have any that are ready to pull seed from, I might do the bell pepper in with it too. Depends on what's going on within the end of the 2 weeks time. I'll probably add in some seeds that I already have, but if I do, they'll be listed as not directly from my garden, but ones I value. Like that eggplant. That eggplant is something I'm very pleased with. I need to talk to my husband about that. I just noticed that daisy back there is not being watered.